NLTV Season 3, Episode 9, the final episode in the third series, because soon we shut down for Pesach. Now comes the question, should we continue and resume after Pesach? Well, here's the opportunity for you to have your say. Please give your feedback, whether we should continue, how we should continue, what you'd like to see, what you wouldn't like to see. Give us an email at keepnltv@gmail.com. That's keepnltv@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from you. Absolutely.
Yeah, we would. Because, we're more and more back in shul. We're doing things in real life now. But we would like to continue much of our online presence as well. But this is the opportunity for you to have your say. And I'll give it to you again. keepnltv@gmail.com. Now, this past Shabbos, it was nice to see the shul at our COVID capacity. So with social distancing, every second row, every fourth seat, all available seats were taken. It was wonderful to see a beautiful atmosphere, a full hashkama, a full main service, a full Sephardi service, and a youth service, feeling a bit normal again now.
That's right. It was wonderful to see for Simcha, of course, as well. We had, and
But now Bentley, yes, we're going to meet them later.
That's right. And as we're easing out of lockdown, people getting to see a little bit of each other in real life. So it's really something special. I think it's a little bit people are nervous, getting back.
People are nervous, people are cautious. And there were a couple of gentlemen who I saw at shul who had not been there for 12 months. And they're feeling safe to come back, which is wonderful.
But I think it's more than that. I think that people like when they see people in real life, they're like, oh my gosh, wow, you're real. You're not behind the screen and you're not filming. Yeah. It's a whole new way of readjusting your social skills. So
I know how one of them, I said, I'm about to give you a hug, but then you'd have to keep away for another 3 months. It's hard not to, but you keep your distance. Just really good to see you.
That's right. And it's amazing that we're coming around a year now since our first lockdown. And
it's exactly a year, because last year was Vayakil Pukudei, which was the first Shabbat we weren't in shul, and this Shabbat Vayikra was Jude Cannon's call up, and that was the first bar mitzvah to be cancelled. But good news, he's coming to celebrate his 14th birthday in shul, and he'll be laning at shul this week. Likewise, next week, Parashat Tzav is Zach Bloom's bar mitzvah last year. So he's going to celebrate his 14th birthday by laning in shul Parashat Tzav this year, which is wonderful.
Right. Talk about Pesach Sheni, right? You get the second chance.
Yeah, exactly.
A whole year later. But it's wonderful that these boys are getting that opportunity. And, it was a really tough year for them. But now we were able to give them that chizuk to be able to.
Yeah, and they've been reviewing the laning. They've still got it. It's not gone rusty, which is quite surprising. But so we look for the only drawback is for Zach Bloom next week. It's 7 o'clock in the morning because it's Erev Pesach on the Shabbos.
Yeah, complicated this year, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the guidelines have been sent out to the shul from myself and Rabbi Friedman of what to do. If you're not sure, call us. That's what we're here for.
That's right. And so as we're getting ready and geared up for Pesach, we have lots of chametz to get rid of, right?
Yep.
And we have to get rid of it a little earlier, right, before the 3-day Yantiv. But we still meant to eat bread challah, right? Have the Lachem Mishnah on Shabbos before.
Friday night, early Shabbos morning.
Or you could do the egg matzahs as
you
guys recommended. But we have an opportunity with Food Bank Aid that started right here in Norris Lee to get rid of the chametz. And so I speak with Joe Rosenblatt to see how it all started. It really literally started just a year ago, and how we can help the general community. So let's go over to Joe Rosenblatt. Welcome, Joe Rosenblatt, to Norris Lee TV.
Hello, nice to see you.
Yeah, great to see you. We missed seeing the kids, in children's services.
I know, it's been a funny old year.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're on the way out.
Yes. So how you've been here in the suburb for quite a few years?
Well, I was actually born on Norris Lee, did you know? Number 31. That is where I lived as a child. So we've got a very long history on Norris Lee. And then we left the suburb, and then I came. So we've been back in the suburb for eight or 9 years. Yeah, a while.
Wonderful.
A while.
Excellent. So I know you and your partner, Naomi Russell, have done an amazing job over lockdown. It's unbelievable. It's been a year already. We're getting close to the year anniversary of the first lockdown. Where you started this food bank aid. Started off in Northwest London. So just can you tell us a little bit how that all began?
It started off with you, with Norris Lee, actually. So it wasn't me. So Naomi Russell, who's also a member of the shul, she lives in Highgate. I believe what happened was that she was sitting in her kitchen about a week before Pesach last year, and suddenly thought to herself, and there was a lot of news at the time about food banks and COVID was starting, and there was, all of that talk was starting. And she thought, well, what happens to all the chametz when people start clearing it out? Where's that all going to go? So she contacted Mike Freer actually at the time, and she said to Mike Freer, could you contact all of the synagogues in Barnet and ask them what they're doing at this time of year, which he apparently did immediately within an hour.
Wow.
And then I think she collected that week 1 carload, which she then took to one food bank. And that was how it started. She started it off locally. I think Norris Lee did a brilliant job as well, helping at the time. And that's how it started. So from one food bank, we are now helping 18 food banks every week. So we have 40 bespoke deliveries going out to 18 food banks each week. So each food bank gets between 1 and 4 deliveries, which is a carload of food. I mean, depending on the size of your car, you can get a lot in a car. So that's where we are today. It's gone unbelievably. I mean, in the communities, it's just been supported by amazing donors and brilliant people. It's just, yeah.
And I noticed that even, especially, we didn't have the bar and bat mitzvahs celebrations, but so many of them took on this as their mitzvah project and really did and posted in all this carloads of food.
Yeah.
So it gave them an opportunity to be able to commemorate their special milestone. Well, Yashaka. So what can we do this year for the food bank? Are we in the same state as we were last year? What's the situation?
Honestly, it's worse now. The food banks tell us, we speak to them really often, and they tell us that they don't understand what's happening, but it's worse than it was last year. Wow. We were looking early on in the pandemic, they were looking at kind of, most of them were having kind of triple the numbers that they normally have. And now, I mean, one of them said suddenly out of nowhere yesterday, 40 new families turned up and they just didn't know where they were from. And you don't turn people away, but you've got to have enough stock for them. So for our area, we've got 4 drop-off points in the suburb. So my house is one, and we've got one on Holm Chase, one on Winnington Road, and one on Hill Rise, and mine on Middleway. And you can drop off anytime to any of those drop-off points. I mean, obviously, not everyone clears everything out, but there were definitely less. I mean, I always go through my cupboards and I think, where's this come from? I haven't used this. But please do check sell-by dates, because we can't take things that are beyond a sell-by date. But yes, there were definitely excess comments rather than all of your comments, I suppose. Anything anyone wants to give would be brilliant this year. And we can collect from people's homes if you prefer as well, because some people are not out and about as much, or it's easier for us to come and collect. So just yes, let us know and we can do that.
Well, I know a lot of even individuals are collecting on their streets. Like we have our neighbor collecting on her streets.
Gabby does, yeah.
Right. So it's been amazing how everybody's really coming together for that. Are there specific items that the food bank needs at this time?
So every week, so the thing that makes Food Bank Aid different is that we ask our food banks exactly what they need each week. So people assume that food banks, I mean, often I would have done it until I knew better, but I would, you give pasta, people give pasta, baked beans and tin soup, genuinely. And that's not what food banks want.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they get mountains of pasta, and it's not, and if you think about kind of cultural, ethnic, religious, taste and things like that, and dietary requirements, we do try and be really respectful of what people actually want. So we certainly each week it changes because the food banks ask for different things, so there are particular shortages. But we will produce a list. But I mean, at this time of year, chametz, whatever you've got in your cupboards, we will take and we will repurpose. But we'll make sure that it goes to the food banks that need it. So, you know, if, for example, we've got a food bank where you've got gluten-free people, or you've got new mothers that need nappies, or you've got I don't know, older people that need specific requirements for their diets, we will always make sure that the right things go into the right place. So anything that comes in, it goes picked up by so we've got 40 residential drop-off points across North London. We've got an army of brilliant drivers who go around and pick everything up. And then it all goes to Naomi's house in Highgate. It all gets sorted. Her garage is now, it looks like a kind of warehouse depot type thing. And everything gets unpacked, sorted, and then repacked and sent out in our drivers and taken to the food bank. So yeah, so everybody does get exactly what they ask for.
Wow, amazing. And if anybody wants to volunteer,
yes,
contact
absolutely.
Volunteers.
Yep. So we have a Facebook page, Food Bank Aid North London. We are on Instagram at foodbankaid_NL, or you can email foodbankaid@gmail.com and just say what you need, and either me or Naomi will respond to you as quickly as we can.
Amazing, right? And they're all non-perishable items, right?
Well, we do take fresh fruit and veg. Not kind of berries because they get squished, but fruit and veg is brilliant for us. And actually, we've just started taking eggs as well, but please don't drop them on the way, because fruit and veg is really asked for. They absolutely love it at the food banks, and there isn't enough of it to go around.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
The amazing work that you and Naomi and I'm sure your whole team is doing out there. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to be part of this incredible mitzvah and helping really about most, helping with those in need, especially during this time. So
thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joe and Naomi Russell. That was wonderful what you're doing for the community. And those who are watching, there is an opportunity to drop off your chametz or any unwanted food. You can do that at the shul forecourt on the 22nd and the 23rd of March in the afternoon. So drop your stuff off there and it will go to a good cause. So kol hakavod to Joe and to Naomi. Thank you.
So as we're easing in lockdown on the second day of Pesach, we can...
The Monday.
Yeah. That's right. So we can have Chalamai trips, right? We can't travel out international, but we can do day trips. And
you can meet 6 people outdoors.
That's right.
You can do an outdoor Yom Tov lunch on the Monday and have people around.
Right. And we live in, an incredible city, London, where there's so much to see in the city. And even just you go a little bit, half hour away, we have beautiful grounds and countryside.
Have you seen, with your family, Rabbanit, you've been here about 2.5 years now.
Yes.
Like have you toured London? Have you got to see a bit?
We went down we did the London Eye. We did one day, one summer. Yeah. In the summer, we did some trips. Nice. South End on Sea. What do they call it? South End on
Sea. Yeah, we go there regularly.
Oh, you go there regularly.
Love the seaside.
Canvey Island.
Yeah, and there's kosher shops there as well. So
right, I went to see the Hasidim there after we went to Stamford Hill. Actually, we took the kids to Stamford Hill.
Oh, well, there's a day trip.
Yeah, because I wanted them to get a Brooklyn feeling. So I said, let's go to Stamford Hill one day.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Stamford Hill is, one of Europe's top 10 holiday destinations, but it's certainly worth a visit. Yeah.
So, I actually met up with over Zoom with Adam Cannon, who's a lawyer professionally, but he took up this hobby. I don't know if you saw him on Facebook.
Yeah, on Facebook, there's great snaps he puts up.
Yeah, so I caught up with him to see how he got involved in that and some of his great photography that he shared with us. So let's go over to Adam. So welcome, Adam Cannon, to Norsley TV.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, it's wonderful. We always had your lovely wife, Dr. Ellie, on for quite a few occasions. So it's great to see the other half.
She's better than me.
I didn't want to go there, but equal. It's always about a partnership. So it's wonderful to have you on. And the reason I asked you to come on is because throughout lockdown, very way in the beginning, you were posting amazing, beautiful photography on your personal page, on your Facebook, Instagram, and it was just amazing. And I know this is not what you do as a profession. You're a lawyer, work for the Sun, and now you just launched a website of all your photography. So I was just curious, and I'm sure our viewers as well, as to how did you get involved with photography, and tell us a little bit about that.
So for a number of years, I've always just enjoyed taking photographs. Initially, it was just actually on an iPhone. I just enjoyed, it makes, actually about 4 years ago, at least 4 years ago, I was in between jobs and I was on gardening leave. And I had a period of time, about 3 or 4 months, where I was just meeting a bunch of different people every single day. And I decided whenever I was meeting people, I would walk between meetings in London. And I started looking up. No one ever looks up in London, but I had time, so I'd walk if I had a meeting in the West End and the next meeting was in the city. I'd wander and looked up and saw the most amazing features on buildings, or you see the sun shining off monuments, and it just made me think, you know what, it'd be quite fun to take some of these pictures. So I started back then with just my iPhone and started just taking some fun shots. I didn't do anything with it. Sometimes put them on Facebook, sometimes didn't. Just to remind me, just to cheer me up as I was walking along. And then obviously I went back into the world of work and I took less shots, but I still, whenever I was away or going somewhere, I always used to like to take interesting pictures with my camera to see what I could see. It's also how you remember something. It's, you're turning a 3-dimensional into something 2-dimensional, and you're bringing out the contrasts and the colors, or if it's a black and white, the difference between the grays and the whites, and just turning something into, which to a lot of people would be mundane, into something which is no longer mundane. It's something real. And something that just stands out. And so I just really enjoyed it. And I bought myself I started with a bridge camera, which which was recommended to me by actually the picture editor at the Sun. And bridge camera is, most people probably know what they are, but it looks like a proper normal old-fashioned camera with a lens, but it's got a fixed lens on it. But it's not a fixed lens as in like an iPhone. It's a fixed lens which has built into the lens the zoom, the aperture, all the various bits and pieces that you need in a lens, all in one camera. So it's a bit heavier, but it means you don't have to start switching around lenses. So if you're just going out and about, you throw that in your bag and away you go and you take pictures. And I've got now actually a better bridge camera now as well. And you can take some really, really fun, great pictures with them. And then
you take training? Like, did you get trained in it? Or you just hand them? You just
I'd never trained. I didn't even know what the basics of exposure triangle was until a few months ago, when I decided to do one of those courses, LinkedIn courses at the beginning of lockdown, just to teach myself some basics of photography. And then from there I started to edit some of the photographs, and I was chatting to a friend of mine who is a freelance journalist, actually based in Spain. I was doing something for him, and he said, look, you've got to do something with these photographs. You've really got to turn them into something. And so we decided, he helped me, and we turned this into a website called The Traveling Brief, thetravelingbrief.co.uk, if anyone wants to have a look. And what we did is we just divided the albums up into, different places I've been to, but also lockdown particularly, I can say this now, is that hopefully come the end of this year, we're never going to be in a lockdown again. But it's a unique time, dreadful time, but a unique time, walking around London with no people there, or walking around past closed restaurants during the day, or just markets with 3 people in them, or walking down the Thames, or walking to Hampstead Heath and seeing all people are able to do is walk all day long. These are thankfully, but they're still unique times, in a way maybe the Second World War was for other people. And it's almost important to just try and take pictures of these things, because you need to be able to understand what we were going through at this time. And so I've tried to do a few of those as well on the site as well. If you go in, suddenly I'm walking across Hampstead Heath and you just want to grab a quick picture of 3 people on Hampstead Heath, or hundreds of people on Hampstead Heath. Or the other thing, I don't know if people have noticed, is the sunsets that we've had in the last few months.
Yes, absolutely.
They're like the Northern Lights. They're not like sunsets we've ever had before. And so, often I just look out the window, think it's a great day, and walk up to the Heath extension and just get those pictures looking back across the amazing Hampstead Heath and just sticking them on Facebook just to try and cheer people up and cheer me up as well.
And the sunrises as well. And
sunrises as well. We've got to be up early for those.
Yeah, absolutely. But you get the red, and it's just the colors are amazing.
Yeah.
But, you know, before, you know, early on when we were allowed to just even get out of the city a little bit, you were doing estate trips, right? Back in the summer, right? And you went. How did you find these places? Were you just as a Brit, you knew where to go?
So randomly, actually, must have been before a few months before lockdown. We joined the National Trust. We went somewhere. I went to Corfe Castle, and they said, "Oh, join the National Trust. You can join as a family." So I thought, you know, we'll join. Maybe we'll go to a couple of places. And then lockdown happened, and it's like, well, this was the first lockdown, and it started to open up and thinking, well, what can we do? There's nothing to do. But well, hold on a minute, we're members of the National Trust. Let's just go explore, get out into the countryside. And there are places near here, fantastic places within 20, 25 minutes, half an hour, up in the Chilterns, to the north towards Cambridgeshire, just great places like Clevedon and Hughenden, places for picnics, places just to go walking. And you know what, it's a great day out just to do that. And if you're a member of the National Trust, here's a plug for the National Trust. It's free parking and free entrance. And it's only about £10 a month, which I believe is gift aidable as well. So there you go. So you can... we're
easing, you know, slowly out of lockdown. We'll be able to go. I mean, it doesn't look like international travel is going to happen anytime soon. So sure,
well, you'll be able to go. I think you know, every day of Pesach for your matzah, you'll be able to go to, you know, after I think it's the 31st. Yeah, every single day you can go to a different place, go into the countryside with your matzah, make a big mess, and clear it up afterwards, of course. And you know, there's places around. And we've also, as a family, always gone to places in the UK for half-term weekends. So there's places, you know, particularly places like Norfolk and Suffolk, and the south coast like Brighton and Hove, and you know, Kent, places like Whitstable, we've often gone to for weekends, and they're all in the, you know, all great places in the UK. And again, they're fantastically photogenic places. Just grab a camera and take pictures, and it's just fun. It makes you appreciate somewhere when you're there, when you're able to, you know, you're able to freeze before you put the camera up to your eye, the vision, and you can actually see, you actually see something different to what everyone else is just walking past and ignoring something.
That's great.
I remember the old days, you know, you used to basically take with you, you know, piles of film. You ended up half the film was rubbish, you know, because you had no idea what you were taking pictures of. You had no ability to edit the pictures, and you know, and you never kept them. We're good as a family. Every 6 months we have like a photo book, and so I always build a photo book, whatever we've done in that 6 months, even if we haven't gone away. So we've always got that record, and the kids love looking through them. I use Instagram a lot. Instagram is great. So I've got Adam Richard Cannon for people on Instagram, or the Traveling Brief UK, which is the other Instagram site. But you know, so please follow. It's quite fun, and comment as well. Always happy for comments on pictures.
I think, you know, like you said, you know, Pesach is coming up, and we have trips to do outdoors. So, and spring is upon us. So we look forward to following you, and even do some of those pictures as well.
Take your camera out, and also, you know,
right.
get out of London, you know, and also so close to where we are. You've got beautiful countryside, you know, and it's fun, you know, and you know, and even the kids will moan like, you know, like mad until you get them out there. But the moment you get them outside and they're able to run around, all of a sudden it's not as bad as they first thought.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and for those wonderful tips, and continue, you know, good luck with your photography. And
thanks for having me on. Thank you.
Wonderful to hear the different things that people took upon themselves during lockdown.
No, thank you very much. Have a good evening. See you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So thank you, Adam. You know, I think we actually had all the family on Norsley TV except for Jude, which hopefully we'll catch him after his bar mitzvah, which we always catch up with him afterwards, right? Because we had Dr. Ellie has been interviewed quite a few times. We had Lottie last week with Project Impact with the JVN Awards. And now we have Adam sharing his photography with us and some sites with the National Trust. Great tips to visit around the UK to see these incredible sites. So thank you.
Jude has had his fair share of fame, as he was the first online bar mitzvah we did a year ago from now.
That's true. But I don't think we caught him on Norsley TV yet, so we're gonna have to get him on Norsley TV. So
well, after Pesach, NLTV@gmail.com.
There you go. So I also caught up with another member, Micaela Chetrit, who
caterer.
Yes, she's a pop-up. She does a pop-up catering called. She bought Penashe, and she did a little something special for Pesach, and now that we could have simchas, slowly again being able to celebrate to some extent. I caught up with her to see what she has to offer. So let's go over to Micaela. Welcome, Micaela Chetrit, to Norsley TV.
Hi, nice to be here.
Yeah, so this is very exciting. So you got into the catering business, or how long have you been in the catering business?
So really all my life, I would say. My mother was a kosher caterer. So I grew up surrounded by weddings, bar mitzvahs, planning of events. Dinners were spent talking about menus for people and discussing their table plans. And weekends were spent helping my mum set up events and running the events with her. But 2 years ago, I took over Penashe, which is a company that's been around for many years. And that's how it all kind of began.
Wow, that's amazing. What kind of catering do you do?
We do pop-up food stands for events. What that means is we come along with a kind of brightly colored striped canopy gazebo. We set up, prepare all the food on the stands, cook for your guests, think kind of food truck style, gourmet burgers with different toppings. We make it all there on the grills for your customers, for your clients, and that's what we do.
That's amazing. And so, do you have something special coming up for Pesach that you're doing?
Absolutely, we're doing ready to bake desserts for Pesach. So as we can't celebrate simchas at the moment, we decided to do something a bit different, and I came up with the idea of pre-prepared desserts that you collect in the pan or in the pots, in the containers, straight into the oven and ready to serve. And we're doing a special menu for Pesach, 3 or 4 items that you can have ready for your Seder table or for any of your special meals. And yeah, they shouldn't taste of Pesach. That's the idea.
That's amazing. So, and you get like the fresh, so it's already ready to go. You put it in the oven and you get that fresh smell and
exactly.
So what kind of desserts like
So the most popular one has been the cookie dough skillet. So you get the pan itself and the dough ready with all the chocolate in it. It even comes with a mini branded little icing sugar shaker, just in case you don't have icing sugar ready for Pesach in your cupboard. You get the instructions in the box, in it goes into the oven, and out it comes smelling and tasting
great.
Okay,
right. So it's a cookie dough that you get and then you bake it. Right. Okay, wonderful. That's awesome. So it must have been really tough because there were no simchas, especially no parties, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And so we have the date, June 21st, right? When we could all party again. So that must be really exciting.
The exciting thing also is that even prior to that, where we can have groups of 30 or we can have groups of 6, we're able to do these pop-up events. So we're setting up in people's driveways or in their gardens. We provide the food as they come through the door, fresh, cooked on the stand. And so actually from sort of April, I think it's middle of April onwards, we're going to be doing events again in a much smaller way. Right. But after June 21st, yes, we're back up to the normal kind of...
So is it meat? So what you provide meat? Is it burger? It's all.
So we do, yes, meat or
and it's under KLBD.
That's right. So we do a gourmet burger bar where you can choose to have fried egg, truffle mayo, crispy onions cooked there in front of you. We do a Chicago hot dog stand. We do a nacho bar with crispy bacon and soya cheese on top, guacamole, that kind of thing. And then we offer a waffle bar, crepes, ice cream bar, different kind of candy floss, popcorn, this kind of fun, informal, fast food. But you'd be amazed it's the adults that enjoy it as much, if not more, than the children.
For sure, it brings back nostalgia, the good old carnival and fair and party time.
Right.
So that's
and I remember when I used to help and work with my mum, the kids would always get chips and the adults would always get a roast chicken or I don't know, smoked salmon or whatever it was. And the number of times you'd be stopped on the way to the kids' table for the men and the women asking for a plate of chips was quite incredible. So
right, for sure. We always have a little kid in us, right?
Exactly.
We hope to continue to have simchas and maybe only share simchas. So
thank you.
Good luck with it all.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure. So that's a lot of fun, these finger foods, when you go to simchas, right? When we used to at least go to these dinners.
I remember those days.
You always picked up the children's fries, that you wanted the children's My husband does it all the time. Like, he's like, I want the kids' meals.
That's the better food. You just got schnitzel and chips, you know.
That's right, the schnitzel and chips. So she had, it's great that it's one of the pop-up carts.
Yeah.
They have these exquisite, burgers and hot dogs and, finger food. And it's quite fun to be able to do that outdoors. So we wish her much hatzlacha with that.
Oh, man, look forward to tasting it.
Great.
Anytime soon. Speaking about simchas, Noah Bentley laned beautifully in shul on Shabbos. Really did. It was nachas to hear.
Absolutely. It was so clear and it was really wonderful. So I caught up with them on Thursday morning at his, when he was landing there and they did the professional pictures. But I caught up with the family to wish them. Mazel Tov Bentley family. We have Noah just laned this morning. Woohoo! Mazel Tov. How you feel, Noah?
I feel very excited.
Very excited. How was it? You already started last week. You had your first aliyah in shul. This is like a long week of celebrations, right?
Yeah.
So getting ready. Who'd ever thought? What did you imagine happening?
Well, I didn't know if I was going to be able to come to shul, but it's good that I can, and I can actually lay in the shul.
Excellent. And we're very excited to see you here with you. Okay, and we have your dad, Paul. Mazel Tov.
Thank you very much.
And Annie Fine. And who your sisters?
I'm Mia, this is Tess.
Mia and Tess. I'm sure you're very supportive.
Yes, of course.
How do you guys feel this morning?
Yeah, well, we're excited, for the weekend upcoming. Celebrate with her. Things will be good.
Very proud.
Very proud of you.
We could all see that. We could all sense that. So Mazel Tov, and we look forward to Shabbos. And I know you're going to do a great job once again.
Thank you.
Mazel Tov.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the shul as well.
Very special opportunity. We have Grandma here. Do you want to say anything to Noah?
I want to say I'm so proud of him, and I've looked forward to this day for a long time. And he's a fabulous little boy. Well, he's a man now,
He's a man, that's right.
And I'm only sorry that Grandpa Alan's not here, but please God, he'll be here on Shabbos.
Lovely. We look forward to seeing him. Only simchas. Mazel Tov. The fact that they didn't even know that they were going to be able to be in shul and that they were there 3 times. So he should be able to return many more times in the future. What a lovely family. You could feel the sister support there, cuddling Noah, and he really did a great job. I remember Noah performing at Kerem in year 6 play. He did such a marvelous job.
You're very talented.
Yeah, very talented. And he once again, as we said, did a great job for his bar mitzvah. And Mazel Tov to Paul and Annie and to Tess and Mia. Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov. Lovely.
So we're now, going into Pesach, but we are going to be counting the Omer. I noticed like every time you introduce our series and our episode, you're always counting, right? So we're at series 3, episode 9, we're always counting. And like we said, we're a nation of counting. We love to count things. And this is a 49 days of counting. And so I caught up with Rebbetzin Lisa Levene.
I know her.
You know her? I'm sure many of you all know her too. No stranger to North Lee, who did an amazing production of something called the Omer Times. And I caught up with her ask her about it. And let's go over to Rebbetzin Lisa. So welcome, Rebbetzin Lisa Levene, to North Lee TV.
Thank you so much.
You are no stranger to North Lee. Very loved. Thank you for being here. So you have worked on this beautiful Omer Times, which is a publication that I'm very honored to have been asked to be part of it. So thank you very much. Please tell us about it. How did it begin? What exactly is it? And now that we're coming up to the Omer, we're getting into Pesach and starting to begin that count.
So I had the idea probably about 4 months ago when we were actually just before lockdown. I was feeling that the world wasn't going to be normal for a while. And I really wanted to do something. I was really trying to think outside the box, just trying to think creatively about how we can keep people engaged, remind people that it's not about shul, Jewish Torah and everything's about life, about Jewish life. And it's not just about synagogue on a Shabbos morning. So I'm trying to think out the box and using educational ideas and bouncing ideas off my husband and I. And I came up with this idea that was a bit crazy at the time. So to create a 7-week newspaper series, each newspaper in each week would be based around a particular trait. And that would be used as a springboard for a discussion with your community Rebbetzin to facilitate a conversation, to get people talking, to get people engaging. Because I feel like what's happened a lot during this whole lockdown period is we lack that connection, we miss that hug, we miss that one-to-one. As we know, Shavuos is a time when the title Shavuos actually means weeks. And we know the whole point of Shavuos is character development and to build on ourselves. And we know Pesach is a time where we were physically allowed to be taken,
liberate
free people, but spiritually it's just a springboard. So we know now we need to do that work. And I wanted to give people a fun, dynamic tool in which people could really grow and learn and hear different voices and different international voices. And there's such a wealth of Torah and knowledge and different perspectives that I wanted to bring it to people and let everyone else shine in their own unique way. So just like any other newspaper, there will be articles that will speak to you and there'll be articles that won't. And my whole goal is that we don't just count the Omer this year, but we make each day count. We really grow as people. I always have my whole mantra is that unless we're constantly developing as people, as Jews, as we move backwards, and it's like our personal growth is like moving up a downwards escalator. So we have to constantly be pushing ourselves above, against the grain. And this is huge, especially now during this time.
Absolutely.
So I'm definitely not perfect, definitely have so much to work on. So I wanted to do this journey myself, and I wanted to invite other people to do it with me. So that's how. Then I shared it with someone who I'm very close to in Denver, Colorado, a Rebbetzin, and she wanted to partner with me on it, which was even more fabulous because she has a wealth of 30 years experience. And so to have her Torah, to have her input was invaluable. And she also pointed me in the direction of other international educators that I would have had no other way of accessing. And so together it just kind of evolved. So
amazing. So we know that we count the Omer, and each week each day there's a character trait, right, that we're meant to work on, to really connect with. It's a very spiritual journey, like you say. And what's beautiful in it is that each one talks to different parts, different aspects of a person's life, right? Like you mentioned, like Judaism is not just coming to shul and leaving. It's when we wake up, how we sleep, how we eat, and so on and so forth. So how does one week look like in one of these publications? If you can describe a little bit of it.
There's some sections that are continuous. So we have inspiration from Israel that I think you might recognize the contributors. Rabbi Rebbetzin and Rabbi Kaplan are speaking from Israel. You have a business section where those of you who know Helena Sharpstone, she's speaking from a business perspective about the trait. What I wanted to do is, this is a very Kabbalistic spiritual concept. And I wanted to make it practical and real, and make Torah and make it real and palatable to myself. I was speaking to myself and I wanted to share that. So I wanted to bring Torah down in a practical, meaningful way. And because of my background of psychology and loving character development and that type of thing, I wanted to make it understandable and relatable. So for every trait you've got, like I said, business, the aspect of the trait with regards to, from a business perspective, quotes, popular quotes. You've got articles that people have written in.
There are recipes as well, right? There's
food recipes, and actually you might recognize the cocktail recipes by our very own Maddie Drucker. And so she wrote and she prepared a cocktail for each middah, for each week, and jokes, and we've got an Etgar quiz from Adam Taub, and we've got so many different, there's a whole different array of different ways to tap in to the middah, in order that it's going to speak to different people in different ways. Some people are going to want the Torah and the intellect. Some people are going to want the fun. Some children are going to want, there's a youth section, there's an Ask the Rabbi section, Ask the Rebbetzin section, a woman of the middah. There's whole different, each edition is slightly different. And there's the opportunity for people to, I've managed to secure funding for some hard copies. So hard copies for you to have a read, but there's also the option to sign up on a website and get each copy electronically downloaded and sent to your inbox before Shabbos, so you have an opportunity to print it and read it, and then just start the conversation with your friends, with your family.
What's that website? What's the website called?
It's called coretorah.org /Omer Times.
So wonderful. So we look forward to reading it each week and growing from it. Like I say, we all have to grow individually and as a family, as a group. This is definitely one thing that Corona has taught us, is to really value every day and take it as it is. So thank you for giving us this opportunity. We really appreciate it, and may we grow from strength to strength and really be a unified community together, as not only as a community but as a nation.
Amen. And thank you for taking the time to listen and learn and grow with me.
I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Take care. So that's amazing. I mean, this is an international publication that she had produced so many different types of information about each character. We know we have 7 midas, as we count the Omer. And every day it intertwines with another midah, the Tiferet. So it's really about building the character. She really wanted, as she mentioned, working on oneself. And so in this publication, there are different ways to really tune into this character trait. We had a few to give away, so I ordered a few of them to put out in Shul on Pesach, so look out for those. Like I mentioned as well, I was honored that she asked me to contribute. So Yasher Koach once again, Rebbetzin Lisa, really a great undertaking, and continued Hatzlacha, and may bring you only good things.
Amen. Amen. So you may have seen in the Jewish Chronicle, the JC COVID heroes. There are quite a few nominations, but one of the heroes is our very own Dr. Leora Harvard, who, as you may know from being local and from Norrisley TV a number of weeks ago, has helped tremendously with the vaccine rollout. Many members of our community have, myself included, have been a benefactor of her kindness and her super organizational skills and her medical experience. So do nominate her for this award, because it would be very nice, very special for our community.
Vote for her. She's already nominated.
She's nominated, but now she needs our vote. So put your vote in. JC COVID Hero at thejc.com.
All you have to put is her name, Dr. Leora Harvard. That's all you got to do to put her vote in. Again, it's a JC COVID Hero at thejc.com. Best of luck to her.
Amen. And now back to lockdown literature.
Yes, we have Martin once again had made a recommendation called When Time Stopped. And he was able again to catch up with the author. And Gail Kravitz, our very own Gail Kravitz from The Office.
Yep.
I don't know if many of you know, but she works a lot behind the scenes, does a lot of the programming. Everybody knows. Email Gail for the Zoom link, right? Yeah. So she's an avid reader, and Martin and Gail catch up with the author of When Time Stopped. We're going to feature the full interview on Wednesday night. I'll just give you a snippet here. We'll show you a little snippet here just to give you a little preview, but the full interview you can catch on Wednesday night. So let's go.
And kol hakavod to Gail, because when she's, if she's not doing anything for the shul, which she's always doing, then she'll read, but she'll finish a book a day. But other than that, she works tirelessly for all the events that are going in the shul. Everything that you see put out there is Gail in the background together with the rest of our staff. And thank you to all of them.
That's right. A big shout out. So Lockdown Literature with Martin Kaye.
Welcome Ariana Neumann, author of When Time Stopped, to Norrisley's Lockdown Literature. When Time Stopped won the 2020 Jewish National Book Award and was shortlisted for this year's Wingate Prize. I'm joined by our very own Gail, who I'm delighted to say shared my enjoyment and enthusiasm of this fascinating story. So, Ariana, please give our members an insight into this remarkable book and how you came to write it, but without giving too much away, please.
Okay, I will try. Hi, Martin, and hi, Gail, and thank you for having me here. It's a huge joy. So I grew up in Venezuela, and when I was a little girl, more than anything in the world, I wanted to be a detective. I wanted to solve mysteries. And little did I know, actually, that the biggest mystery I would solve would be that of my own father. I acquired more documents, more stories, and I pieced together this remarkable story, or lots of remarkable stories, which I felt compelled to tell. And I think the most remarkable of all was that of my father, who aged 22, as a Jew from Prague, decides that when the Gestapo are looking for you because you've absconded from a transport, the only thing for you to do is to go to Berlin in the middle of the war, to the heart of the Nazi Empire.
So that sounds like a very interesting book. It's a detective book about her father, so it's interesting read. So I'm gonna get that one to read over Pesach. Martin, you saved me a copy, I hope. So in our next season, Martin Kaye has something special for us, and here's a message from him.
And you'll notice, Basha, that I've actually dressed up for the occasion. So here we go. This is Martin Kaye. If you're waiting for Oprah Winfrey, you're disappointed. She's not on for another half an hour. Instead, me. Good evening, everyone. Each week, I'm contacted by members telling me how much they enjoy the book we discuss in lockdown literature and asking for more recommendations. In response, in our next series, we will be asking personalities from our own and the wider Jewish community to tell us, in the form of a 3-minute talk, about their favorite book and why you should read it. We have an eclectic lineup of both books and personalities, and we hope that you will share our enthusiasm, enjoy viewing their recommendations, and read the books.
Thank you, Martin. That sounds very interesting. We look forward to hearing what you have to bring to Norris Lee Season 4. So that's all for this week. Thank you very much for joining us.
That's all for this season. It's not just the end of the show. But do look out for the email, because next week there is something on every day, literally for all ages across the spectrum of our very diverse community. There's something for everybody in the run-up to Pesach. Norris Lee TV not included, but there's so much other stuff. We just can't fit it in.
Right. But tonight, it actually starts tonight at 8 o'clock. I'll be talking with Daisy Aboudi, the Pesach journey from Sudan to Iraq. So we begin the Pesach preparations tonight at 8 o'clock and go on for the continued 2 weeks. So
there are children's programs, there's educational programs, how to kosher your kitchen, there's afternoon tea, got this siyum for the firstborns on Thursday morning. It's all happening here.
Right. And during Pesach, the Freiluchs will be doing another happy hour for
happy hour. The Freiluchs on Lamod, that's right.
So that should be exciting as well. Yeah. All right, so have a wonderful Pesach. We're here, even though we're not here on Norris Lee TV, you know our numbers, you know our email. We look forward to hearing from you. Chag Sameach, Chag Kosher.
Chag Sameach, a kosher Pesach, and a good Yom Tov.
Good luck.